Hey everyone, welcome to my Week 5 presentation. For this discussion, I chose to explore 3 resources that I located on the America History and Life database. Each of these resources examines either Native groups or Native individuals that would have interacted with the Plymouth colonists during the 17th century, although they accomplished this by using very different methodology and by focusing on different aspects of this specific topic. For example, one of these resources looks at the English perception of Native religion, while another explores this topic by examining European-brought illness and its effect on Native Americans. So they're all pretty different. The first resource I chose was Survival of the Pilgrims, a reevaluation of the lethal epidemic among the Wampanoag by John Boos. What this resource does is it examines the ways in which a large wave of illness that had passed through southern New England right before the arrival of the Pilgrims affected their overall chances of achieving success in the New World. Boos does a really good job of showing how lucky the Pilgrims really were. The treaty they signed with the local Wampanoag may have not even have happened if this illness hadn't severely weakened them. The plague wiped out a large number of Wampanoag, while their biggest enemy, the Narragansett, were barely affected. The author really demonstrates how perfectly things were kind of set up for these European colonists. As with most resources that cover this area of history, though, mostly European accounts are examined. The second work I examined was Indian Devils and Pilgrim Fathers, Squanto, Hobbamock, and the English Conception of Indian Religion by Frank Shuffleton. This was a resource I found especially interesting as it really takes a unique view of the topic I'm exploring. Within the resource, Shuffleton breaks down how little the Pilgrims and all European colonists really at the time understood Native American religion and Native Americans in general. Colonists at the time were really interested in either trading with or learning agricultural techniques from the native groups that they interacted with. The Europeans would have large holes in their understanding of those who they interacted with on a regular basis. Shuffleton really is wise in showing how this lack of understanding would play into the colonists' interactions with these native peoples as a whole. Besides looking at the Wampanoag, though, the resource also specifically looks at Squanto and Hobbamock, 2 incredibly important figures in Plymouth history and 2 individuals I feel have been really marginalized. The final work I chose for this presentation was Squanto and Massasoit, A Struggle for Power by John Hummins. Within this article, Hummins creates a narrative in which there's a power struggle between Squanto and Massasoit, the leader of the Wampanoag. The author makes Squanto out to be the villain of the two, but it seems as if this resource doesn't really explore many aspects of Squanto's life before his time amongst the colonists. The author also examines how Squanto jeopardized the relationship between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag. But again, the resource falls short in its exploration of Squanto, in my opinion. However, this is still a great resource to explore when looking to examine the topic of early 17th century colonists and their interactions and understandings of local groups, native groups, and native individuals. Thanks again for checking out my presentation, and I look forward to viewing everyone else's this week.